Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. What a glorious day it is in the Shire. It's quite cool, but very nice. Anyway, why am I stood in the middle of nowhere? Well, just wanted to share with you that there's been some major changes on the channel. Now then, you may have seen the previous video I did on the 765 RS. An awesome piece of kit, an amazing bike, absolutely fantastic. However, a couple of little things that I just kind of fancied, and you know, sometimes you just get that little worm in your ear, and sometimes you just think, you know what, if I don't get something else now or change it now, I may well not do it again. Love the 765, an amazing piece of kit, awesome bike. Spent a bit of money on it, as we always do on our bikes. We promise ourselves we're going to spend money on them, get them to how we want. We keep them, but sometimes requirements, circumstances change. So, in light of all the major YouTube creators, English Biker Dan, Lamb Chop. Well, these guys, they're all swooning over a Honda Hornet, CB1000 SP or bog standard Hornet. But no, on the Twist and Go channel, we like to open up life. We like to have fun. Now, while the Hornet has its place, it's very similar to the 765 RS, which I've already had. I recently mentioned previously about kind of fancying something a bit of a fairing. Fancying that sports bike feel. So while everyone's swooning over the Honda Hornet, I'm going old school, baby. Oh yes. We are going to the Kawasaki ZX6R. Yes, no flies on you, those eager beavers amongst you that follow the channel, commented on my previous post on the 2-year review on the 765. It's an awesome bike, superb piece of kit. But yeah, I just fancied something with a fairing again. So against my better judgment, against the fact that I said I was going to keep it, yeah, well, here we are. So hey, better to regret something you've done and regret something you haven't. Although so far, 600 miles in, 0 regrets so far. What have we done to it so far? Well, not an awful lot, to be honest. She's got a tail tidy on. She's got a couple of stickers, the Kawasaki ones I purchased recently. The EvoTech ones came with the EvoTech tail tidy. We've got some Easy Grips, Easy Grip Evo grips, which make a massive difference on body position on the bike. I've stuck on a ZX6 sticker on the side. I'm still not convinced if I like it at that angle, but I think it looks okay. Obviously, the 40th anniversary edition ZX6. Back on an inline 4. It's just so smooth. But anyway, we'll jump on and we'll give you a few thoughts. Well, YouTubers, here we are then, on the mighty ZX6. What a stunning day. What a stunning day. And what a stunning motorcycle. Yes, I obviously rode the ZX6 back in, well, a couple months, well, a good few months ago now, back in summer last year. And there's a few things about the bike that just got under my skin a little bit. I think mainly the riding position, the weather, the wind protection, and just the togetherness and connected feel that you get with a sports bike. That, as amazing as the 765E is, it just didn't have that togetherness that you get with the sports bike. That feel you get through the front end. As good as it was, as good as it is, it's just not quite a sports bike. So with still doing track days and not being a small fella, I am quite big. Trying to get into that position, get into that racing position on the 765 is quite hard. Obviously being the city up and big, flat barred type sports bike. If you've been following the channel for a while, hello Mr. Highland Cow. I did try and get a Moto 2 version of the 765, but they sold out in jig time. Went like hotcakes, and unfortunately I missed out on one of those. So there's a couple around, but they're kind of silly money really for what essentially a bike I'd already got. So I thought, well, if you fancy another sports bike, you fancy that seat position, you fancy the fairing again, what about a sports bike? Now, of course, there are others that I could have looked at. I could have looked at Yamaha R9. I could have looked at a CBR 600. I could have looked at another GSXR 750 again. However, GSXR 750, I've already had one of those, and to be honest, I should have. This is where everything goes full circle. I could have kept my K8 GSXR 750, and I'd have been no worse off. But anyway, we are where we are. That was a good few years ago now, and third children and stuff have happened since then. But anyway, I'm waffling. R9, very nice, but not cheap at 12.5 grand. You know, that's starting to get up there. But yes, agreed, it's a quality piece of kit. CBR 600, very, very nice. I just don't fit on it. It's very small, just not quite as spacious as this, and a little bit too buzzy. I just fell in love with the tractability of this little engine. I fell in love with the way it feels, the way it goes, the way it sounds. The brakes are really, really good. It's easy to ride. It's got plenty of performance, but the tractability of this engine it just blows me away. It really does. I'll give you an example. So we're in a 40-mile-an-hour limit. I'm in 6th gear, and yeah, it's just nuts. I mean, 6th gear, 20 mile an hour, and that's what, a third of the throttle? A third throttle, that is, and it just picks up from nothing. The flexibility of this bike, the engine, it's just mental, honestly. So 40 into a 60, that's the throttle to the stop. And you know, it's so smooth. The way it delivers this power, it's so effortless, it's so easy. And I think I missed the smoothness, to be honest. The smoothest you get with an inline 4, and you know, I love the 765, and without a doubt, 3-cylinder and 4-cylinder engines, that's where it's at for me. You'll know I test ride that KTM, that 790 Adventure. It's a good bike. Just the engine just doesn't do much for me. But this is just so smooth.
Downsides, yes, it doesn't have a bi-directional quick shifter. It doesn't have the quick shifter going down the box. But I'm okay with that. I've been riding for 30 years and I've never really missed it. Don't get me wrong, it's great on track on the 765, it's brilliant. That's the only downside with this bike. Excuse me. That's the only downside with this, is it doesn't have quick shifter going down the box, but it's not the end of the world. You know, rev matching manually is something I've done for years. Quick shifter going up the box is fine. It's lovely and smooth. The bike feels good. You just feel connected to the bike, you know. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. I've made my bed. I'll lie in it as much as I'm going to miss the 765 for what it was. I don't have any regrets in getting this at all. I love the bike. This is actually only my 4th Kawasaki over the years. I had an ER5 many moons ago after I passed my test, just something to ride while I was still at college. That was cheap to insure, cheap to run. I also had a Z1000SX 2014 model. I've had a ZZR 1400, which was a 2009 model, and now we're on a Kawasaki again. Yeah, it's got power modes, but you don't need them. Like I said in my previous video on this, it's not needed. I've left it in Sport, which is the lowest setting for the traction control, which I've not even seen flicker once on the road, not that you'd expect to. Doesn't really need power modes, to be honest. Nice to have traction control though, as standard. Nice to have traction control as standard. Does it make enough power to need it? You could argue probably not, but this has it. A GSXR 750 doesn't. You could fit it aftermarket, but again, there's also the old school thought that, well, all the traction control you need is right there. So, hey, you know, I can kind of get on board with some of that as well, to be honest. Haven't had a K6 GSXR 1000 that spat me off. Haven't had a K4 GSXR 1000 that spat me off. Yeah, although I never flew off the 750 GSXR 750. I never managed to stay on that one. But anyway. So yeah, here we go. The mighty ZX6. So smooth over the road. The brakes are really good. Haven't had the M50 Stylemas on the 765. I can categorically say that the brakes on this bike are, I hate to say, as easily good, albeit the calipers don't look as fancy. And this actually doesn't have braided lines on it either, so, but this is all subject to change based on riding it on the track, which I've not done yet, which we will do, of course. Actually, part of the curiosity in me is, am I actually any quicker on this? It's the same power as the 765. I'll get an exhaust for this. I'll get it tuned. We'll have all that to come on the channel. But actually, I'm actually quite keen to find out, am I any faster on this on the lap versus the 765? I'm actually quite intrigued. Which do I find easier to ride on track? I suspect the 765 is the easier bike to ride, but we'll find out. So yeah, having spent a bit of money on the 765, looks like we're back to drawing board and doing the same again with this, but hey, whatever. If it's my only vice, then so be it. But yeah, I love it. I really do. But the wind protection for me, and lack of wind blast, certainly at motorway speeds, is noticeable. But that's what you get with a road bike. You know, when I bought the 765, I knew what I was getting into. And to be honest, I've really missed my GSX-R 1000 for, you know, the togetherness that a sports bike provides and gives, the smoothness of the inline 4. The 765 is certainly not rough by any means. But this bike you can just feel it just wants to go. So yeah, we've got all that on the channel. We've got tuning of this to come. Probably after a bit of research, it looks like velocity stacks for the track are probably worthwhile. If you're looking to more Mafia or Two Wheel Dyno Works in the States, certainly you can get like 12 horsepower at the top end by changing the velocity stacks. I'm actually kind of keen just to try it, just to keep the headers on this as standard for now. Put on an NCAN, maybe get the tuning checked, get it fettled as needed, see what sort of difference it makes. A full system will give you slightly more mid-range, not a lot, but certainly velocity stacks top end seem to make quite a bit of difference. So maybe we'll go that route. We'll see. But first of all, just need to ride it. Need to get some more miles on it. It's just done its first service, so it's good to go in regards to fun is concerned. But she is not slow. This is not a slow motorcycle. And to be honest, I was actually really close to buying a ZX4RR. And the only reason I didn't buy a ZX4RR is because I'm 6'4", although it is arguably a little bit more comfortable. But at 70 horsepower with my 15.5 stone, probably 16 stone with gear on, fat bottom on it, it's not going to be very it's going to be somewhat thwarted before I even roll down the pit lane. Not that that matters, but yeah, I'm pretty big, I'm not exactly light, so ZX4 is yeah, not really built for big people like me, but I'd still like to ride one, and doing a back-to-back comparison with this would actually be really quite good. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do a back-to-back comparison with the Hornet and the 765, but I will certainly get the Hornet out for a test ride and see. So, and I totally understand why people are buying the Hornet and why it's selling its droves, because at that price point, you know, 10 grand, it's an absolute steal. Which leads me back onto what I was saying earlier, which I kind of digressed a little bit. This is 10 grand. This is a hell of a lot of bike for the money. It's £2,500 cheaper than an R9. Same price as a CBR 600. Give or take a couple of £100. And once again, I've got a good deal with Sherlaws, and yeah, long may their support, customer service, and deal making continue. They keep doing good deals, I'll probably keep buying bikes. It's as simple as that. Yeah, something quite nice about manually ref matching as well, you know. A little bit more involvement. But, you know, you can do that. You can do that on a bike that's got a bidirectional quick shifter. So that's it then. The mighty ZX6. Yeah, I fell in love with the colour scheme, I really did. It was a good price. And yeah, here we are. This is the next bike on the channel. So yeah, against my better judgment. But I love this metallic white as well. It's beautiful, that is. Really, really nice. Regardless of the quality of the bike, I think what you find with the Triumph as well is like on here you've got, that's just a sticker. That's a sticker that I put on. Yeah, that's been lacquered on. But the stickers here on the fairing, they are just stickers. They're not lacquered. They're not painted. So I mean, you could just take those off if you wanted to. Likewise down the bottom here as well. That's just a sticker that's just been put on. And if you notice as well, the green must be like a vinyl as well, because there's you can feel what's been put on there. And on here as well, there's an edge. You can see where the wax. You can see the wax is on the bike. Look. So I think that's the difference you get in the quality. But you know, it's £2,500 cheaper than an R9. It's within a couple of £100 of a CBR 600, which you could argue has certainly got more tech on it. Do you need it? I don't think so. I think I'd rather have the flexibility of the engine. So that's where we are. This front headlight, I love the front end look of it here. It's really cool. And I actually think this headlight here is very similar to the 2017 Fireblade. Yeah, but I just love that angle there. It's just, yeah, I think it's a cracking bike. I think it's a cracking looking bike. So yeah, at the detriment of losing swathes of subscribers due to change of vehicle, then hey, it is what it is. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in and sticking to the channel. And please do like and subscribe if you like what you see. And if you don't like what you see or hear, then you know what? That's okay too. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, there's plenty more to come. Reviews, bike ownership. It's, yeah, adventures, touring, off-road stuff. Oh, there's so much to do. Anyway, thanks again. And from the heart of the Shire, I'll love you and leave you. Bye for now.